I'm often approached by people who have submitted claims to the Workplace Relations Commission and they are in some difficulty and require assistance, and often it has to do with either mediation being offered to them or they've got a hearing date. And when they get the formal letter from the Workplace Relations Commission or the Labour Court, but generally the Workplace Relations Commission, they get this formal letter telling them that the hearing will be 4 or 5 weeks later, and they then panic because they don't know what they have to do. And the problem here, the difficulty is that submitting a claim to the Workplace Relations Commission is pretty easy. Now, some people say that the form itself is complex, and I do recognise and accept that it's an easy form to get wrong. In other words, it's an easy form to make a complete mess of. That's for sure. Oh, a little boat down here. Kids enjoying the holiday, the midterm break. So the Workplace Relations Commission form is easy to fill out and slap in. You can do it all online and there's no great difficulty there. The problem arises, however, in filling the form out correctly and ensuring that you're picking the right claims and identifying the right breaches of whatever you claim are breaches of your employment rights. That's the first thing. The second thing is when the letter then comes offering the hearing. The problem there is people literally don't know what to do, and they contact me and I basically tell them in summary form what they have to do. They have to set out their case if they expect or want to win it, and in setting out their case and giving themselves the best chance of success, they need to make a submission. They need to prepare a written submission for the adjudication officer to have in advance. And that's shared with the other side. But in order to have a good chance of winning, they really do need to have a decent submission, and they haven't a clue how to do it. Now, they might say to me then, can you help me do it? And I sure can, but the problem is this: it's going to cost, because it's not just a question of doing the submission on its own. There's a question of preparing the submission and then providing representation on the day. So I want to just change the lens on this now. I'm just going to do a little adjustment and continue on then. I bought this it's a little wide angle lens. It's called a wide angle lens. I'm going to stick it on now and see, does it make much difference? Yeah, there you go. It's magnetic. So the wide angle lens is stuck on there now, and let's see, does it make a difference as we go along. Anyway, as I was making the point there, submitting the claim form is easy. Getting in the claim form or even an appeal form to the Labour Court after getting your arse handed to you on a plate at the WRC is easy as well. I'll go this way for a change. But the problem is preparing the submission. The submission at the WRC and the Labour Court is going to be different, and there's different requirements. But certainly the thought of preparing a submission, and a submission that is likely to give you a winning chance, is something that most people are unable to do, quite frankly, and don't know what's involved. They come to me and I tell them what they have to do to try to win their case. But the reality is, without legal expertise, they're going to have a very hard time winning their case and preparing a submission that's going to advance their cause. But that's what they have to do. And that's what the submission is all about. Now, if you go to a solicitor, me or anybody else, depending on who the solicitor is, you're probably looking at a fee in the region of 3,000 plus VAT for legal representation at the Workplace Relations Commission. That might involve preparing the submission and representation on the day, but that can come as a shock to a person who has a complaint or issues with their employer, and they have experienced the ease with which they can submit the WRC online complaint form, and they didn't realise that shit gets real later on, especially when an employer is at risk of losing. I want to just check something here now. Yeah, I've tracking enabled there now on my thingamajig, so my head can move around all I like and it'll make no difference. It's supposed to track me. But yeah, even at the bottom of the range, the bottom of the estimates for a WRC submission and representation, you're probably looking at $3,000 plus VAT or thereabouts, and no guarantee of success. But that's the unfortunate reality for people, and sometimes, as I've said, they come in for, or are in for a rude awakening, a rude shock, because submitting the complaint form is handy enough and it'll be just dealt with in the normal way by the WRC. But eventually then a date will be given, and then things get serious, things get real. And if an employer is at risk of being taken to the cleaners for a significant amount of money and then has to pony up for legal representation, which he will do, he's going to be taking it seriously, and you need to as well. So don't make the mistake of thinking this WRC thing is not going to court. It's easy to fill out the online complaint form. I can do that myself, because that is the easy part, and that's easy to get wrong as well, quite frankly. It's easy to pick the wrong acts or the wrong complaints, and if you do, you're going to face an adjudicator who on the day is being told by the other side, you don't have jurisdiction to hear this complaint because it's not on the complaint form. The box wasn't ticked. So that's important. Now, this is a wide angle lens I have on this. It's a new lens. You've seen it back there where I stuck it on to my Osmo Pocket 3 camera, which is essentially a gimbal with a camera, but it's magnetic. It just sticks onto it very, very handy, and it just gives a wider angle. And so for the likes of this video here, where you don't want the camera too close to your head or your face, then the wide angle gives you a bit more space, a bit more room to maneuver. So that's what I'm doing today. It is, I think, the 16th or 17th of April 2025. It's Holy Thursday, Good Friday tomorrow. Easter weekend is coming up, and that's it. Good long break now at the weekend. Looking forward to it. I'm down the canal here in Enfield in County Meath. Near where my offices are. It's lunchtime, and I'm going to be interested now to have a look later on at this footage and see what it's like with the wide angle lens and without. And I'm actually going to take it off now. Took it off there now and I've removed it, so I want to just be able to compare and contrast, as it were, when I go back to the office when I'm making the video. I'm going to put it back on now, and that should be wider, hopefully. Anyway, that's the story. If you like the video and you find it useful, I would appreciate if you hit the thumbs up button down below, and yeah, subscribe to my channel as well if you find it useful. Here's the canal here now in Enfield. It's a nice picnic bench down here on the right hand side. Let's come down here someday now and maybe fly my drone. Anyway, hit the thumbs up button down below.